Shows Johnny Cochran sitting in a barber chair reading the newspaper, getting his hair cut at a barbershop by Richard Pryor. Shows two other empty barber chairs with Bernie Mac and Charlie Murphy as barbers standing in the shop. Pryor. "Cuz, what's with your boy Ye? He's burying that white boy in his video." Mac. "He's tripping, man. They finna throw his ass in jail for losing his damn mind." Murphy. "Nah, fuck that nigga, aight. Let Ye be Ye. Why you even talking about it? His business." Norm MacDonald and Nicole Brown walk into the barber shop. MacDonald. "Oh my God. It's Johnny Cochran." Cochran. "Do I know you, sir?" MacDonald. I'm Norm MacDonald. I was on Saturday Night Live during the O.J. trial." Cochran. "Oh, I see. I thought that was Kevin Nealon." MacDonald. "Nope. It was me." Awkward pause. MacDonald sits in Mac's barber chair and says, "Well, good afternoon, brother. I was hoping you could give me some dreadlocks." Mac turns to Murphy and says, "Did this motherfucker just ask me to give his white ass some dreads?" Murphy whispers to Mac, "You see who he with? That's who Juice used to kick it with, Nicole. This white boy seemed like he's trying to be a nigga." Nicole sits in a chair opposite the barber chairs as Mac starts working on Norm's hair. Norm turns to Cochran and asks, "Hey, Mr. Cochran, do you mind if I ask you a question?" Cochran puts the newspaper down on his lap, rolls his eyes, and asks, "What is it?" MacDonald. "Well, so you recognize my lady friend, right?" Cochran looks over at Nicole and says, "Well, LB, if that isn't Miss Brown. How are you, ma'am? It's a pleasure." Brown. "Nice to meet you. I didn't agree with the result, but I thought you did a wonderful job at the trial." Cochran. "Oh, why, thank you. That's much appreciated." MacDonald. "Well, anyway, Nicole is now my girlfriend." Cochran. "Uh-huh." MacDonald. "She's with me now." Cochran. "Okay." MacDonald. "Well, what I wanted to ask was this. Let's say hypothetically that you, me, and Nicole were all still alive." Cochran. "Uh-huh." MacDonald. "And let's say me and Nicole were married, and then we got divorced. And let's say I was really mad that she was sleeping with other men. Now let's say I was mad that she was sleeping with other men, and I caught her with some guy, and I killed them with a knife." Brown. "Honey." MacDonald. "Oh, don't worry, Sugar Plum. This is only a hypothetical. I mean, I'm here with Johnny Cochran. I'm just so curious." Cochran. "Well, what are you asking me?" MacDonald. "So let's say I killed them and then get on a flight to Chicago, and then I was charged with murdering them, and then there was a highway chase where I was being driven around by Al Collins, and then I was arrested. How much would you charge to represent me in the murder of Nicole and some nice Goldman fella?" Cochran. "Are you talking in 2022? MacDonald. "Yeah." Cochran. "Where did you allegedly kill them?" MacDonald. "Holy cow, allegedly. You really are the best. Let's say it happened in Brentwood." Cochran. "Well, I'd charge you $25 million to start, and a whole lot more if we're going to trial." MacDonald. $25 million? But Mr. Cochran, I never had that kind of money. What with all those college kids missing all those free throws?" Cochran. "Well, I guess you'd have to find another lawyer." Norm turns to Charlie Murphy and asks, "What's your name, brother?" Murphy. "Charlie." MacDonald. "Charlie? Are you one of those dirty commie Viet Cong or something? Murphy. Do I look Asian to you, motherfucker? McDonald. No, to be honest. You actually look kind of black. Mac starts to laugh, turns to Murphy and says, "This motherfucker's a trip." McDonald turns to Cochran and asks, "Can I ask you another question, Mr. Cochran?" Cochran looks up at Pryor and asks, "Richie, who the fuck is this guy? Are you fucking with me?" Pryor. "No, nigga, I can't just have brothers in here. I need some white boy money to keep this place open." Cochran. "Okay, what other question do you have for me, sir?" McDonald. "Well, you know my girlfriend Nicole, right?" Cochran. "We already established that I do, sir." McDonald. "Okay, well, let's say hypothetically that she was married to that black Viet Cong barber over there and that they got a divorce and he got mad that she was sleeping with other men and then he found her with another man and he murdered her and that nice Goldman fellow with a knife. And then he took a flight to Chicago and he got charged with murder. And then he was in a highway chase where he was being driven around by Al Collins. And then he was arrested. How much would you charge Charlie to represent him?" Cochran. "So it was in 2022 and it's in Brentwood?" McDonald. "That's right." Cochran. "Probably $2 to $3 million to start." McDonald. $2 to $3 million? But Mr. Cochran, you said you'd charge me $25 million. Cochran. "That's right." McDonald. "Well, why on earth, or wherever we are, why would you charge me so much more than him?" Cochran. "Well, sir, I wouldn't be able to use that Mark Furman shit with you. It'd be mighty expensive for you to get me to conjure up an argument that LAPD was being racist against a white man." McDonald, now with his hair in dreadlocks. "Even with my hair like this?" Cochran. "Well, maybe we could go with an insanity defense, but it'd still cost you." McDonald. "Okay, well, taking you back to the first question, suppose the cop who collected the DNA evidence was black." Cochran gets out of the barber chair. "Sorry, friend. Perhaps we can talk about that next time. In any event, live from Tom's phone, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Live, starring an ever-evolving cast that is unionized and refuses to allow their names to be mentioned until their demands are met. Musical guest, Betty Davis, and your host, Burt Reynolds. Ladies and gentlemen, Burt Reynolds." Applause, applause, applause. Reynolds. "Thank you. I'm finally hosting. I agreed to come on this production before and help them out when they did a Jeopardy bit, with the promise being that I'd get to come back and host and finally get to say some things I've always wanted to say. And for one thing, I don't appreciate how Saturday Night Live try to reduce me to a punchline with all of their Jeopardy bits. Alex Trebek comes out and says, "Did somebody say Jeopardy?" Stagehands come out and set up 3 Jeopardy podiums, including one in front of Reynolds. Sean Connery and Jerry Lewis come out and stand behind the other 2 podiums. Reynolds. "Hey, Trebek, what's going on? I thought that I was going to get to do a monologue." Trebek. "Welcome to Beyond Your Mortal Jeopardy, Celebrity Edition. I'm your host, Alex Trebek. Today's contestants are Burt Reynolds. Reynolds. Hey, buddy, I was supposed to get to give Saturday Night Live a piece of my mind. Trebek. Not now, Norm. Reynolds. I'm not Norm MacDonald. Trebek. Sean Connery. Connery. Hello, Alex. Trebek. And finally, comedy legend Jerry Lewis. Lewis. May I tell you how much of a joy it is in all that stuff? It is to be here. It's super duper. Trebek. Good luck to all three of you. The categories are celebrities, potpourri, popular music, movies, potent potables, U.S. history, and S-words, which are words that begin with the letter S. Mr. Reynolds, you get to go first. Reynolds. No, you don't get it. The whole reason I agreed to host was to say I'm sick of SNL mocking me with this bit. Trebek. In that case, Mr. Connery, you pick the category. Connery. I'll take movies for $400, Alex. Trebek. The answer is, John Travolta learned how to dance for this 1977 hit movie. Connery rings in. Trebek. Mr. Connery? Connery. That would be Jaws. Trebek. No. Jaws is incorrect. And remember, please answer in the form of a question. Reynolds rings in. Trebek. Mr. Reynolds? Reynolds. See, that's what I hate about this stupid skit. You funny guys act like I'm stupid or something. The answer is, what is Jaws? Trebek. No, that is incorrect. Reynolds. What the hell are you talking about? I said, what is? Lewis rings in. Trebek. Mr. Lewis? Lewis. That would be Dancing Ladies. Trebek. That is incorrect. The correct answer was, what is Saturday Night Fever? Okay, Mr. Reynolds. Do you want to pick a category yet? Reynolds. Okay, fine. But we'll get this over with faster. I'll take swords for $400. Trebek. Mr. Reynolds, it's actually not swords. It's S-words. Connery. See, I told you before, Alex, it's a very confusing category. Trebek. The answer is, Popeye was this sort of man. Lewis rings in. Trebek. Mr. Lewis? Lewis. I got the answer, Alex. You want the answer? It's simple. They're terrified of a perfectionist. They being the people running the studios this week. Trebek. That's incorrect. Connery rings in. Trebek. Mr. Connery? Connery. What is your mother? Trebek. That's incorrect and not appreciated. Reynolds rings in. Trebek. Mr. Reynolds? Reynolds. What is katana? Trebek. No, that's incorrect. And your answer didn't even begin with the letter S. Why don't you pick the next category? Reynolds. Movies for $200. Trebek. This racing movie with Dom DeLuise told us that yes, cannonballs can run. Lewis rings in. Trebek. Mr. Lewis? Lewis. What is Deliverance? Trebek. No, that is incorrect. Connery rings in. Trebek. Mr. Connery? Connery. What is the longest yard? Trebek. That is incorrect. Mr. Reynolds? You did star in the film. Reynolds rings in. Trebek. Yes. Finally, Mr. Reynolds. Reynolds. What is Smokey and the Bandit? Trebek. Wow, no, that's incorrect. Reynolds. But it begins with the letter S. Trebek. That was a different category. You know what, why don't we move on to final? Reynolds steps in front of his podium and says, I don't think so, buddy. Nice try. Okay, we're done here. What can I say? I guess it really is tougher than it looks. Anyway, we have a great show tonight. Betty Davis is here. And don't call her no tramp. We have gotten word that doing so is now considered politically incorrect. We'll be right back.